I think to live is to try to understand what is to be human. In the process, we gather experience. Every experience builds who you are, so someone can know or expect your actions to be aligned to that experience that we share together, if I know you very well. But sometimes life throws something at you that is so new, or you are in a different place in your head that puts you off track of who you used to be. You can know someone very well and they can know you very well. But if something that has never happened to you or to that person ever, not even close mentally or emotionally, or doesn't matter what it is, how do you know how each of you are going to behave? Have you ever had an experience where you react in a way that you never thought you would?
And you see them and you suddenly, there's something called the situation where this facade breaks, right? And that's called the situation. And so I think that when you know somebody, you're definitely mostly dealing with the persona. And I think that there are instances in close friends or when you're in intimate situations with a significant other where that breaks down. There's a moment of, or successive moments of vulnerability where I think you get a glimpse at least into person behind the mask.
Taken aback by your own reaction. There's something that sometimes something happens to you and you go like, I never thought I was going to react that way.
But I do think for the most part, you're dealing with, I mean, maybe I just haven't gotten close enough with anybody to really see the mask come down. But I think it's definitely in moments of vulnerability, especially in moments where somebody is telling you a truth about themselves that they're not comfortable with.
I don't need to necessarily have like an emotional breakdown, but if it's organized in my mind and I've like had time to overthink it, don't you think that then that's still the context of persona?
I think it depends how much time you've had to organize it. If you've asked me a question and I've thought about it, it could be because I've overthought it, in which case I would agree with you. If it comes to a point where I give you some contrived cousin of the actual truth, I could still deliver that information to you in a way where it was packaged within my persona. I'm maintaining a straight face, a calm disposition.
What is to know someone fully? You can even be surprised by yourself. It's a way of us comprehending the whole. If we think about sound, if we hear everything that is around us, we can go mad. So we learn to filter. So I think time is the same. So I think in a way we learn to organize things in order to make our lives easier. And it looks easier if time is linear. So yes, I think it's much easier to understand, to put in a box, so we can kind of contain the data and understand it better. It feels more palpable.
Because you've spoken about time in this way, it also makes me think about emotional and psychological maturity. Because how many times have I learned something, and despite knowing what I know, returned to the old mechanisms, the old way of existing, of being. And had to relearn what I've already known. So sometimes we forget that we already have knowledge, and we go back and then return to a point in which we've already been and take a little bit of a step forward, hopefully. But time is not really working in this kind of linear way, especially in this kind of psychological maturity.
It's a bit like, I think, geology. You have a river, and then the river dries, so there's the sediment, and then let's say that something happens and brings some rocks on the top. And later, thousands and billions of years ago, then this solidified. It became something else, but this something else has two layers that are embedded. They can't be separated anymore. I think there's time, in a way, there's the sense of three-dimensionals.
It's the illusion of near future because there's so much uncertainty. So then the near future, is it just the illusion of the predicted near future of my mind?
Yeah, I agree. It's like music. When you listen to music, it calms you down because your brain always kind of predicting what's about to happen, and in a way it's kind of right because there is rhythm and there is harmony, so you kind of go with the flow. That's why I'm never really sure if there is present or only these near futures.
In that we are in a constant illusion of our mind.
This dream, I had this note in my hand, and every time I looked at them, it said, "Let yourself." I had this dream. I had this note in my hand, and every time I looked at the note, it said, "Let yourself die." Then sometimes I close the note, I forget what it said. I had this dream. I had this note in my hand, and every time I looked at the note, it said, "Let yourself die." Then sometimes I close the note, I forget what it said, and it opened up again. It would say, "You will die."
Thing is, I'm not even sure if this is real, but I remember being 5 years old, and I was playing in some soccer game, and I just remember it was a later game, so it was dark, and there were trees beside the field, and I remember chasing. I don't even remember if I was chasing the ball or I was just running, but suddenly everything around me felt very blurry. The trees sort of melded together, and I felt like I was running at light speed, and I felt like I could run forever and not get tired. And it was this fleeting moment where I just felt like a pure awareness with everything around me. And for whatever reason, that image, that feeling, moment, even if it's not real, it stuck with me. It's one of those things where it's very bottom up, right? Nothing really happened. But it was just so vivid and so powerful, and it felt so real, which I get doesn't make a lot of sense since everything you're experiencing is real, but like an altered state of consciousness where you're kind of hanging above yourself and aware of everything at once.